Here's the Panasonic HC-X1000. In this video, I'm going to talk about the things I like and don't like about this camera after playing with it for a week. And later on, I'll compare it to the GH4 and show some sample footage at the end of the video, so stick around to the end. What I like about this camera is the body. If you're familiar with the AC90, Panasonic AC90, it's a very similar body design and shape. The AC90, when I was using it handheld, was a bit front heavy to me. The X1000, is way better balanced in the hand, and I really love how it feels. I also like the 20 times optical zoom lens that goes from about a 30mm to a 600mm. At I think it's like a 1.8 to 3.6 at the telephoto end. And you have 3 lens controls for the iris and the zoom and the focus. In 4K mode, you have the power optical image stabilization. And then in HD mode, you have the 5-axis hybrid optical image stabilization, which I believe is the same one as the AC90. And that, going handheld, it almost looks like you're on a glider. The X1000 is mostly a touchscreen interface, like the AC90, except there's a lot more manual controls all over the body, which is what I really like. There's built-in ND filters right here. If you have a Panasonic or Varizoom controller, you have the control options here. And it's also, I've been using it for a day with this one small battery, and it's been lasting in 4K mode. I'm surprised how long this battery lasts. Kind of a neat feature is this blue light that turns on. It's a blue ring light all the way around the body, and then when you're recording, I'll just random hit record, it turns red. So instead of your tally lights, this takes, you still have your tally lights, but it's very clear when you're recording and when you're not recording. The light here can be turned off if this is annoying to you. The X1000 has several internal codecs and frame rates that you can record to. My favorites are the Cinema 4K 24p. It has the Ultra 4K at 60p with 150 megabits. That's crazy. And it has 30/24, I use that a lot. 4K is only in the MP4 LPCM mode, but you can also have in the MOV mode and have your 200 megabits codecs at 24, 60, and 30p. You also have adjustable Cine-Like settings, just like all the other Panasonic camcorders. When you're in 4K mode, there's no cropping. So if you have the GH4 and you go from HD to 4K, there's like a 2.3 crop factor, crops into the sensor. I haven't noticed that on the X1000. The X1000 is also a world camera. You can switch between NTSC and PAL. So you can go to 25p and 50p and all the same codecs as the NTSC. It also has a time-lapse and IR mode, infrared, which is, in this camera, why not? Infrared in 4K. Now I'm going to talk about a few things that I don't like about the X1000. The first being this noise, this fan noise that it makes. There's 2 built-in Venus processing engines that scales the 4K down to HD, but I think that is what's causing this really loud fan noise, and I'll be really quiet right now so you could maybe hear it. I'm not sure if you heard that, but I could hear it, and it's on standby mode right now. It's not even recording. The sensor in this camera is a 1/2.3 inch MOS, and I don't know why they went with such a small sensor, because the GH4 is a micro four thirds, and even the FZ1000 that also shoots 4K, that's a 1-inch sensor, so it's bigger than this one. I don't know why they went so low, because having a small sensor is not good in low light. And with the combination of this lens, it's great that it's at f1.8 at the widest, but when you zoom all the way in, it's a 3.6. So a 3.6 with a 1/2.3 inch MOS sensor that's not a lot of light, and you're gonna have to use gain, and the gain is gonna be add a lot of grain. If you use this built-in EVF, it is not very clear and it's pretty small. I think the EVF on the GH4 is a lot better. There's also no quarter 20 mounts on here, so it's nice that you have an XLR up front and an XLR on the back, but if I wanted to mount something on the back, there's no quarter 20 thread here where I can thread an arm here to mount anything. And with the lens, the focus, the zoom, and the iris, they're electronically controlled, so when you do use them, there is a bit of a delay in its operation. There's a symbol right there that indicates that this camera has NFC. Now, if you have an NFC-enabled device using the Panasonic Image app, you can connect to the camera and you could control it. But if you're an iPhone user, iPhone does not support NFC with cameras. So that kind of sucks. So you have an XLR here and an XLR there, but surprisingly, and maybe it's hidden somewhere, I can't find a 3.5mm mic jack. Even the cheap cameras have it. At first I thought it was over here, but this is for the camera mode, so I can't find a 3.5mm mic jack anywhere on the camera. Now I'm going to show you some test footage with the GH4 and the X1000. I went outside briefly and I tried to shoot similar things one after the other. I shot some daylight stuff and then some low light stuff with an LED strobe light kind of thing. And I'll show you that right now. Okay, I'm at a 30p 4K 5600 white balance. This is all the way open. I'm at a 0 dB gain. I'm at 12 dBs of gain right now. $24 dBs. This is as high as it goes. 24 dBs right now. Okay, I'm at a f3.5, ISO 200, shutter speed 130. I'm at the 4K 30p. Okay, this is ISO 800, 3.5. Switching to manual focus. Okay, now I'm at ISO 3200. Okay, now this is ISO 6400. This is as high as it goes. Now it's difficult to compare the GH4 to the X1000 because there are two different tools meant for two different purposes, but if you are going to use both of them, you can intercut them with daylight footage. I don't know about low light, but daylight exterior, I think these cameras could cut together fairly well. So I played around with this camera a little bit. I am not an expert on it, but if you have any questions, leave a comment below.